Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding the hearing, of course, and giving us the opportunity to speak with Director Stowe Manning and Director Sams. Thank you to the panel for being here and regarding the upcoming budget of the National Park Service and how they plan to effectively utilize it. So my district of Guam is home to 50 parks, including the War and the Pacific National Historic Park in Assen, which commemorates the bravery and sacrifice of those serving in the Pacific Theater of World War II. It is important that Guam and the National Park Service work together to protect these sites so that future generations can appreciate them as we do now. Additionally, nearly 1/3 of my island is owned by the federal government. However, our local parks officers are stretched thin. They face serious personnel shortages, which impacts their ability to take care of these lands. So it's critical that the Department of Interior do everything that they can to conserve and protect our island's natural beauty. Dr. Stowe Manning, regarding the 30 by 30 program, does the administration consult with local and indigenous groups on if and how the lands should be preserved?
Congressman, thank you for the question. Sort of at the heart of the President's America the Beautiful initiative is locally led collaborative conservation.
Well, thank you, Director Stowe Manning. Unfortunately, the administration has shown that it does not care about the local and indigenous groups' experience on what is best for their lands. Rather, the administration oversteps and acts without regards to local stakeholders. I would like to bring to the committee's attention the Pacific Remote Island Marianas National Monument, specifically the Marianas Trench Marine National Monument. This status was granted despite strong local opposition from my constituents and the democratically elected government of Guam. It's very unfortunate our voice wasn't heard. Dr. Sams, in 2019, the National Park Service began consideration for designating Maningan Concentration Camp as a National Historic Landmark. As the public comment period remains ongoing, could you speak on the ongoing National Landmarks Committee meeting and provide an update on the general comment period?
Thank you for the question. I don't have that right before me, but I'm happy to get that back to you in writing about our most recent meeting on that issue and provide you all your information.
I appreciate that, especially now we have a special Liberation Day coming up, our 80th anniversary of the Liberation Day of Guam, and that will be important information I'd like to have. Thank you.
Yes, sir, I'm looking forward. I'm hoping to get out there. My grandfather fought in World War II aboard a destroyer, USS Converse, and had talked about the invasion of Guam.
Appreciate it. Dr. Sams, in January of 2023, the President signed into law the Guam National Heritage Area Feasibility Study. My office has yet to receive any updates on the status of this study. So when does the MPS anticipate the completion of this study, and how can we expedite this?
I don't know thank you for the question. I don't know the exact date, but I'll get you the exact date too, also in writing, and give you an update. Happy to work with you and your staff on that.
We'll work closely, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And finally, Director Sams, the National Park Service has designated the War and the Pacific National Historic Park 5th, in line with the supplemental funding request. 5th. This is a serious underfunded and understaffed federal park suffering from flood damage. Monuments are falling apart, and infrastructure which is in the last leg. Director Sams, could you speak to what must happen for the National Historic Park to be considered higher priority by your agency?
You know, as I understand, we have like $2.6 million to preserve the World War II structures at the War and the Pacific National Historic Park proposed in fiscal year's 2025's budget. And we understand that we also have more than $240,000 in maintenance action team projects that will go towards that. It's proposed in our 2025 budget.
But we're still 5th in line with the supplemental funding request. Are you saying that is no longer there, that you have funded it, or are we 5th in line still for supplemental funding?
I'm going to defer to my comptroller and where we're at with that. Ms. Jessica Bowen.
The administration submitted a disaster supplemental request in the fall for disasters that occurred in 2023. No disaster supplemental appropriation was received with the FY24 appropriation, and so we are currently evaluating how to best recover from disasters across the country within available funding.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.